Alright, what is going on, my dudes? We are back here today with a very different kind of video. Now, this is a video that I wasn't initially going to make, but, on all of my recent videos, whether it be Alliance War, crystal openings, or rank up videos, people have commented, hey Mike, would you be up for giving your opinion on the current state of the game? I feel like as a member of the community and a CCP member, you're kind of required to make this kind of video. And at first, I definitely didn't think I was required, and I still don't think I'm required to make this type of video, but if people want to see it, I don't know, I feel like I can give you 10-15 minutes of my time to make you this video and just share my thoughts with you, okay? First things first, man. I mean, everyone's like losing their mind because Seatin's stepping back from the game. Well, first of all, Seatin's not necessarily stepping back from the game. He's stepping back from high-tier Alliance War and AQ, and there's a bit of a difference there, okay? Brian Grant did the same thing about 3-4 months ago, but he still streams every night. He's still making his way through story content, he's still ranking up champions, he's still ranking up all his 4 stars, he's still doing them, he's still doing his thing. And Seatin's still going to be doing his thing too, he's still going to be opening all of his calf crystals, he's still going to be making occasional rank up videos to my knowledge, and he's still going to be live streaming as well, I believe, but he's looking to explore different avenues for his channel, and I think that's a great thing. I've been watching Seatin for a couple years, man. I mean, I think that he does a really great job, and this is his career. And I know he's been playing that new game, that's the 7 Sins or whatever it is. I haven't seen any content on that. I haven't played it myself, but I know that I've heard that he really likes that game a lot. And if people are interested in seeing that and he wants to put that up on his channel, I think that he has every single right to do that. I'll tell you one thing, man. When you play Alliance Quest 7 5 times a week, map 7 5 times a week, and you're in competitive Alliance War for the past how many seasons, it starts to drain you, man. It just starts to drain you. And then when you do Alliance War 4 months straight for a season, and then you open up a Miles Morales at the end of that season, it's just like, what the frig was that for, man? Like, why did I spend all of those resources, all of that time looking at the map, scouting the map, planning my path, bringing in my champions, feeling the pressure of not dying so I don't let down 29 other people, and then you're rewarded with a Miles Morales dupe at the end of all of that? And then you're going to do AQ map 7 5 times a week so you get some tier 2 alpha to rank up that Miles Morales? I completely understand where Seatin's coming from. For me personally, I mean, I would rather be doing map 7 than map 5 or map 4. It's just, to me, it's like if I'm gonna do AQ, I'd rather do the highest form of AQ, and the same goes for Alliance War. I don't particularly get stressed with Alliance War, so if I'm gonna do it, I'd rather just do it, but I understand that it burns people out, man. Like, and here's the thing, just because I'm gonna do it, doesn't mean I personally enjoy doing it, okay? And that's where we're gonna bridge that statement into a couple points of where I think the game is going wrong and what we can do to fix this. And I've spoken to Kabam directly about this. The past couple days, a bunch of people have been voicing their concerns, particularly with AQ and AW and story content in general. And I wrote down a couple bullet points here just so we could stay on track, all right? And the first thing that we're going to talk about today is how I personally think at this point, after running map 7 5 times a week for the past year and a bit now, well, AQ is boring and repetitive. And that's not the worst thing in the world. It's not supposed to be this exciting revolutionary content that keeps you engaged every week. No, exciting revolutionary content, that's what story content is supposed to be. That's what the variants are supposed to be. That's what Alliance War could be. But we'll talk about Alliance War later, trust me. But AQ is kind of like this thing that you're supposed to do that, I don't know, it's not supposed to be like fun, but I don't see a reason why it can't be fun, if that makes sense. And that's notification. And that's what I've been saying to them. I'm like, there's a couple issues with it, and I feel like the issues could be fixed so easily. And I brought up 2 main suggestions on how we can improve the quality of life in AQ, and one of them is those timers, the energy timers, the 60-minute energy timers, get rid of them. And I know so many people are going to say, oh, but that's not what AQ is. That's not, we can't just get rid of the timers. Bad idea. Bad idea. Why? Take a moment and just tell me why. Those timers were developed that way more than 3 years ago, as the way that those are the way that AQ timers were. They are 3 years old. What map was being run 3 years ago? Did we have map 7 3 years ago? Hey cat. Did we have the intricacy of map 7? No, we didn't have the intricacy of map 7 3 years ago. When you go into map 7, you are going to click on links and you're going to see purple arrows all over the map. And what does that cause? That causes this. That causes you to move one tile, clear one fight, go onto your external communication device, tag somebody, hey, can you clear me an AQ? And then maybe if they're around, they'll go in and clear you. They'll go into their lineup and say, hey, you're clear. And that'll continue like that until section 1 is clear. Then we get into section 2. Now, section 2 is a little bit less restrictive that way when it comes to links, but there are still links, okay? Now, here is the issue. We get up to the mini boss, whether it be Omega Red Annihilus or now Thing, okay? And now, maybe it's 10 p.m. at night, all right? It's 10 p.m. at night, and we finally get the mini boss down. But oh my god, I only have 3 energy left, and I have an early meeting in the morning. Let me go onto my line device here. Excuse me, sir. Can you please move to the portal? And other person, can you please move to R3 in section 2 first so that I can clear my link for you and go to sleep so that I can get some sleep before my early meeting in the morning? And hopefully, the first person or the second person are around to do that for you. And if they don't, if they aren't there or they don't do it, maybe they're in the same situation, what happens? Either I stay up for 2 more hours, I'm up until midnight before my early meeting, or I just don't do it. And what happens if I just don't do it? Well, then I'm screwing over 9 other people in my battle group and 29 other people in my alliance. Now, is that a good thing? Is that fun? Is that interactive? No, it is not. Now, what is another solution there? Another solution is just get rid of those freaking link nodes, man. What's the point? What's the point? We're not gonna fight linked. It's not gonna happen. So all it's doing is just adding stress. It's adding stress. It's adding unneeded stress onto the content. I made a suggestion to the Kabam team yesterday directly to them, and they did listen to it, and they are taking all suggestions into consideration. I'll tell you that right now. And I feel like there are some changes coming, and I feel like they're being receptive to the community. What I suggested, if you want to leave link nodes, dude, that's fine. But take away the increased attack and health boost on the link nodes. What will this do? Well, this will do a couple things. This will increase the challenge and entertainment value for me, because maybe I want to now take my path with also a different link. But if I take a couple hits on the block, well, I'm not going to freaking die from 300% plus attack, and I'm not fighting a 400,000 health opponent in AQ. So, if I'm taking Bane, and I want to also take Bane with Delirium, cool, dude, but there's still the same amount of 80,000, 100,000 health and the same attack value. I feel like that would just make life so much easier. You don't have to rely on people clearing on you. You don't have to be pressured to go to the bathroom at work so that I can clear Johnny so he can get through before he has to go to his meeting. It's ridiculous. I said something before where Brian, he had to step back from his alliance because real life is getting in the way. Brian had a real life opportunity where he couldn't play map 7 anymore. Isn't that silly? Isn't that silly that this game that Brian, who I'm using for an example, has been playing for 4 years, right? He's been grinding his ass off for 4 years, keeping up with the spenders as a free-to-play player. He has the roster to compete in Map 7. He certainly has the skills to compete in Map 7 and High-Tier Alliance War. But he has to step back because he can't commit to always being around 8 times a day, checking a line, right? To clear people. Something has to give, man. There is no way that we should have to choose between a game in real life, because the issue is so many people choose the game. So many people choose the game, and I've seen it mess up people's lives. I've seen people quit the game because it's messed up their lives, dude. And this is just such a simple quality of life improvement that's not gonna hurt the game, that's not gonna hurt Kabam's profits, it's not gonna hurt anything when it comes to the game. It's just gonna make the community happier. Get rid of link nodes, get rid of the timer on AQ energy. I said this directly to them. You guys make no money off of AQ energy. You can't buy AQ energy. All it does is keep people up later on at night. And here's something that some people say, oh, but AQ forces you guys to communicate. Really? Does it really? Now listen, if I were to show you my AQ battle chat, it's gonna look like this. At XYZ, clear. At XYZ2, clear. At XYZ3, dude, what the hell? You took my Corvus charge. At XYZ4, clear. And that's all it is. We are absolutely kidding ourselves if we sit around here and say that we have genuine, life-changing, heart-to-heart conversations in our AQ battle chats. We don't. We have conversations in our main alliance chats. And you know what? If you're an outlier there and you have amazing conversations with your battle group, well, I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you. That's really awesome. But I can promise you, that's not the majority of people. And if that's the case, no one's stopping you from doing that. No one's stopping you from having that group chat. All right, so that's how I feel about AQ. That's how I feel about the timers and the link nodes and how I think we can improve that. What's next? AQ donations, way too high. Way too high. If I wanted to spend a lot more effort on this video, I would get the video of the rent is too damn high guy, and I would edit in him saying the AQ donations are too damn high. All right, because they are. And what's it causing? Let me ask you a question. People who run map 7 5 times a week, do you know anybody who buy external donations? And I'm not talking about from the unit store, I'm talking about from other people. Do you buy donations that are dumped into your alliance treasury? Well, the answer is yes, you do. And whether you know them personally, they admit to it, they do. But here's the thing, no one's really keeping that secret anymore. I said to Kabam Mike yesterday, I said, Mike, the donations are too high. Most people that I know, they buy their donations. And they know this. They know this, and I believe they're working on a fix of donations to make it easier for people. But there's no reason why map 7 should cost as much as it does. Almost impossible for it to get a group together of 30 people, okay, who are all gonna have the time to consistently grind arena and have the gold battle chips and loyalty to donate for map 7 5 times a week, every single week, and then also have loyalty left over to buy loyalty boosts that they have to use in Alliance War. It's unrealistic and something has to give. I know a lot of people who are staying out of map 7, map 6 because they can't even afford the donations. And one argument that I receive a lot from that is like, oh, you know, well, if you want to do the higher map, you gotta pay the toll. You want to know what the toll is for the higher rewards? For me, the toll is all the time that the officers put into planning out 10 paths per section based on people's roster. And then somebody accidentally goes the wrong way. Well, now they gotta redo the entire thing in the moment for 3 different versions. I feel like the amount of time and the difficulty spike for map 7 justifies having a decent donation size. There's no need to require the amount of donations that map 7 is currently requiring. It's absolutely soul draining, dude. It's like, oh, you want to do a harder map and spend more time with more links on harder content? Well, also go spend more time grinding for donations. It doesn't make any sense. And you know what? I think they're starting to realize that. The people at Kabam, they're starting to realize donation dumps are a problem. Treasury fraud is a problem. And one way to fix that is to maybe look at donations. I think they know that, and I think they have something coming out soon. I hope. One more topic on the subject of AQ. It's prestige. A year back, a free-to-play person can absolutely compete in the top 10 of AQ. Today, not a freaking chance, man. Prestige is bought, and it is a problem. It is a problem because it's separating the top of the game from the rest of the game. It's just the top 10 pretty much of AQ. If you don't spend on now 6-star 6 stones, dude, there is no chance you're competing in top 10 AQ. And I just feel like, I don't know, man. I'm not against spending at all. I spend. I don't spend a lot. I don't spend like enough to like be in top 5 AQ. But like, I feel like you should be able to grind from a free standpoint to keep up with Prestige, and there is just no chance. There is just no chance of it anymore. You know, I play this game a lot. I spend a decent amount, and I have 1 rank 3 or 6-star. I don't have the Prestige to be in top 5 AQ. No way. Do I have the skills for it? 100%. But I don't have the Prestige for it. If I bought more Cav crystals, could I be? Absolutely. That's a problem, if you ask me. Do I want to be in AQ top 5? Not really. Doesn't matter to me. But the fact that I can't be there because I didn't pay for it, that doesn't seem right to me. I don't know, man. Maybe you disagree. That's fine. I'm not too concerned on the Prestige race. You know, that doesn't bother me too much, but I know a lot of people who it does bother, so I figured I'd point that out. Let's talk about how defense tactics in Alliance War are completely ruining Alliance War. Did you have fun? Did you have fun this past month doing Alliance War with Flo? Did you have fun using your magic against Mojo? But let me ask you a question. You probably did have fun doing that. But did you have fun applying that Power Start 1 boost to magic against Mojo every single war? Oh, but what happens if you don't have the Power Start 1 boost? Well, I guess you can't take the boss. Defense tactics are ruining Alliance War. And we're changing flow a little bit, right? Now the power gain is going to go away with the well-timed block, but guess what? That doesn't fix it. That just creates new problems, all right? That creates new problems for flow. Now, well, you can't really use Dr. Doom anymore. Human Torch isn't the best option anymore. It just creates different problems. Stun Immune isn't going to be as bad, but the issue is the power gain rate, all right? What is it, 45% or 35% stacking 3 times? That is too much, and that's clearly the problem. So I don't see why just changing it a little bit, the way to go around stopping flow, I feel like that's not the way to do it. You know, it all started back from the first season when everybody was using the global evade dodge, and every other hit against small defenders, suddenly Thor Jane Foster was the best defender in Alliance War because she's a small champion, right? And she would cause you to she would evade and just combo you to hell. Then we had Bulwark, right? Bulwark was also completely overpowered. It kind of made Corvus useless against metal champions, and everybody would place metal champions. And then we had Siphon, and you parry once, and you lose like 10% of your health because you parried. Ridiculous. Then Siphon was nerfed, and now we have Flow. And Flow was absolutely insane. It's completely ruining Alliance War. For me, the best time of Alliance War was when the map changed and there were like 2 seasons without the defense tactics, alright? That was when Alliance War was great. And then we started to add this defense tactics BS, and it just completely neutered Alliance War, dude. There is no enjoyment in Alliance War. There is no enjoyment in using a champion and landing a critical hit and then dying from it. That is ridiculous. The fact that you are required, pretty much, required to use a gray loyalty boost or else you'll die is just asinine to me. That's my opinion. Do some people like it? Maybe. I don't like it. Do I hate it? No. Do I do it? Yeah. Do I do it without dying? Most of the time. However, I don't think I should be required to use a loyalty boost, okay, to get through certain fights, and that's the issue with the defense tactics. Aside from that, Alliance War is fine for me personally. Just get rid of the tactics, and I think that we're fine. Let's see. Quest content is too restrictive against newer, more casual players, and it kind of creates a pseudo paywall. Now this is one that like doesn't affect me because my roster is very developed, but looking at like 6.4 and 6.3, man, like if I didn't have 30 rank 5 champions and a couple rank 2, rank 3 6 stars, some of those lanes are extremely champion specific, all right? And like for example, Special Connoisseur and the Do You Sting, those are just 2 from 6.4, all right? 2 lanes from 6.4 that I feel like are extremely champion specific, okay? And Like, can you get through it with any champion? Like, yes, in theory, if you want to spend 3 hours doing 90% reduced damage. Let's just look at Acid Wash Mysterio, for example, alright? Most people don't have King Root or Man-Thing up at rank 5. Man-Thing had just came out, by the way, when that was released. A lot more people have him now. But most people, when you talk to about Acid Wash Mysterio, they say, yeah, you know, I just did a 30-minute fight with Ghost or Corvus. I just used Nick Fury, I used Aegon, I just brute force through it. Okay, imagine doing that, but for 7 or 8 fights. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense, and it shouldn't be designed that way, dude. Like, give us nodes that we can do with any champion. And I don't mean any champion. I don't mean Groot. I don't mean Superior Iron Man. I mean champions that we use. Champions that we use on a day-to-day basis. Let us use our roster, man. Like, I feel like if you don't have Quake, if you don't have Ghost, if you don't have Corvus, if you don't have Omega Red, you don't have Doom, well, you're not doing Act 6. You're not gonna get through it, man. 6.2.6 champion when it first came out was a prime example of this. Mr. Sinister, when he first came out in 6.2, was a prime example of this. If you don't have Heimdall and Angela, well, dude, you're probably not doing this fight. If you don't have a counter to the champion, now there are a ton of counters to the champion. But back then, if you don't have Sim Supreme, if you didn't have Cap Infinity War, if you didn't have She-Hulk, well, you're probably not doing the champion, man. And now, I mean, there's 15, 20 counters to that fight. But back then, it's like, why are we releasing content where there's only a couple counters, man? Let's look at, I feel like 6.4.6 was some of the best content that was ever released in the game, all right? But looking at the Act 7 beta, and I'll probably make some Act 7 beta review guide videos that are separate, but looking at it, it looks like we're moving in the wrong direction, man. It looks like we're going back to the problems that were present in 6.2 and 6.3 and even 6.1. And that is such a bad thing, dude. Let me tell you, man, I did not have a good time in that Act 7 beta. The first quest specifically. The second quest I enjoyed more, and I'm working on the third one now. I don't mind the third one as much, but the first quest, there's so much stuff in there that's just like, what were you thinking? Like, what were you possibly thinking when you designed these nodes, dude? People ask me, what do you think about X7 so far? I say, I hope you freaking have Quake. Because if you don't have Quake, you're not doing it. Like, literally, dude. And that's a topic for a different video. You know what? Let's just move on a little bit. Up next we have, I wrote here, RNG is just shit. Do you know how many people I know? How many people I know that completed Abyss, that completed Act 6, and they just got shit from rewards, dude. Absolute shit. Who did that happen to? Happened to me. Am I complaining about the rewards? No. Do I ever complain about crystal rewards? You guys know I don't complain. I got 3 skill T5CC. I didn't really complain. Made a couple jokes about it, but it is what it is. You know, I look for the bright side. Am I going to have use for them in the future? Yeah. But when you really think about it, does it feel good to 100% Abyss in the first week it was out, and then 100% 6.4 and do a Legends run for that, and within those 2 pieces of content, get 3 T5 CC of the skill class? No, it doesn't feel good when you really look at it that way, man. And it wouldn't have been game-breaking, man, to have a T5CC selector, a full one. It just wouldn't have been game-breaking. And, you know what, rewards are, that's also a topic for a different day. I feel like this really should have stayed more towards AQ and AW, but, you know, I understand the RNG aspect of the game, and I respect the RNG aspect of the game a lot. I really, really do, because I don't want people now coming into the game and just being able to choose whatever 5-star they want, choosing Quake or Ghost and just mulling over all the content, because that's not fair to the millions of players who spent years until they got those champions and got through the content without those champions. You know what I mean? Because we spent years playing with RNG rewards, and now all of a sudden you could choose your champion. You know, a suggestion I've seen around a lot is like, let's be able to pick 1 5-star. Well, everyone's gonna pick Quake, everyone's gonna pick Ghost, everyone's gonna pick Corvus. It's not realistic, and it's not the game. If you want to play a game where you get to pick your character, Super Smash Brothers on the Switch, wonderful game, large character selection, really great stuff. I suggest you give it a try. All right, this game is based on RNG, and I feel like that's something that's never going to change. Does it suck? Yeah, kinda sucks. But you know what? Let's fight the battles that we have a chance of winning. And the battles that we have a chance of winning is let's make AQ less horrible. Let's bring back AW to the way it was before defense tactics absolutely ruined it. Let's bring back a node design going forward for Act 7 the way that you did in Act 6.4, okay? Let's just make good content, dude. Let's make good content. Let's make AQ and AW enjoyable, and let's make the game accessible to the casual player, all right? You shouldn't have to choose between real life and the game. It's silly and it's unrealistic. All right, guys, this has been going on for way longer than I intended it to go on for, but that's just how I feel about the current state of the game. I'm not going to be stepping back anytime soon. I'm still going to be playing, but something needs to be done to make it more enjoyable because I too am getting burned out from AQ 5 times a week. It gets to the point where I see the AQ timer of like 12 hours until AQ, and it just makes me upset. It makes me upset that I'm going to have to unlink everybody and wait to get unlinked and etc. etc, etc. So guys, that was my thoughts on the current state of the game. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, leave a like, comment what you think about what I said and your suggestions on how to improve the game going forward, and subscribe if you want to see some more content like this coming to you really soon. I'll be seeing you around.